Thanks for joining me for this tutorial. I'm going to show you how you can add a form to your website and then where you can add it into your website as a different navigation item or just as a plugin on another page. But today I'm going to use a VBS example so we can see the different places that we could use it. So if we go in our dashboard and we click this form section, we can do the new form. We can add new, or we can click new form here. So we'll do add new, VBS, sign up. And then our form description, we can say sign up for VBS. So this is going to allow us to create the form. And the really great thing about this is it's super easy. We're just going to drag and drop the different fields that we want to use. So we'll start with this single text field. If we click this down arrow, that's going to allow us to actually edit the content. So we can say child's name. We can add a description. So if we want to say first and last, we can set maximum characters so that someone doesn't write a million different letters or numbers, and then we can set it to be required so that they have to fill it out in order to submit the form. So once we've done that, we can add in a grade level field. And we can edit that with that drop down. We can say grade level. And then for this drop down one, you can see that we have the different grade level or the different choices. So we can add or subtract how many we want. So let's say we just want to do first, second, and third. And then we can set that to be required. And then finally, we can add something like a check mark that says that. So this would be the same kind of field. So you could set rather than a drop down, you could do a field with a check mark if you wanted to do shirt size. And we could say youth large, youth small, youth medium, etc. This would be this kind of choice lets us select more than one. So maybe this wouldn't be the best option for the shirt sizes, but maybe if you had something that you needed someone to say if they have allergies. So let's actually change that to allergies. Allergies, question mark. And we could say peanuts, gluten, and let's say soy. We can set that as a required field. Another option we could do for this would be to add a one of the paragraph ones so that a user could actually add in all of the different allergies that their child had. We could do a number if we wanted to say how many children would be attending, or we could do a drop-down option that said we wanted to add additional children. So we can use a conditional logic so that someone only sees the form fields that you want them to see depending on what their answer is. So let's say we want to add a section that says, do you want to add additional children? So we can add this drop down. And we can edit that and say, add additional children and add a question mark. We can say yes and no. So no, yes. And then we can remove the third choice, set that as required. And then we're going to add in the one below it, the conditional logic. So this conditional logic is going to say that because this is a certain answer, we're going to show this. So we can go ahead and say child number 2, child 2 name. And then in this advanced section, we can say enable conditional logic. So we're going to show this field if all the following match. So we're going to say if additional children is yes. So we can see what that looks like if we save this. Go ahead and press update. Then we can preview our form. So we can see here we've got our child's name, grade level, we have the drop-down option, we can check the different allergies that a child has, and then it defaults to the no because that's the first field that we had in there, and then if we say yes, we'll see that second child's name. So if you can keep adding the fields in the conditional logic depending on how many children you want someone to be able to add per each form submission. So that's how we can actually create our form. In the settings section, this is where we're going to kind of customize where this form goes. So here in the form settings, you can set up where different things will live in the form. A lot of this you'll want to leave just as the default. But this confirmation section is where you can add in your own email confirmation. So when someone submits the email or submits the form, you could add the confirmation screen that will show up. So this one is the default, thanks for contacting us, but we could add a new one. We could say VBS, and we could have it be as a text, or it could be a new page. If we want to redirect them to another page, so if we want to bring them back to our home page, or you can redirect them this way as well. So if we want to say our message, thanks for signing up for VBS, we'll see you this summer. So we could set that you only received this confirmation if you filled out a certain form or a certain field in that conditional logic. Then this notification section, this is where you're going to find out where the actual form will go once someone submits it. So we're going to need to update where our admin notification goes. So it'll receive this new submission from, and then we're going to send to the admin email. So the admin email is going to be whatever is defaulted in as your admin email. So if your email is pastorgreg@church.com, then that's where that's going to go. Or you can change it. You could change it to your office email or whoever needs to get that. And then in this all fields, this is what is going to show up. You don't want to change this because this is the code so that you get the actual responses. You could update the notification there. You can also see all of your entries in this section. That the entries will get housed in the back end of your website. So if you don't want to send them to an email, or if you get the information misplaced, it'll all stay here, and you can use it as you need to. So let's see, we've created the form, now we need to add it somewhere. So we can go back to our forms. We see that it's been created. So let's say we want to add this form to a page. So we're going to add it to our navigation items. So we're going to need to create this as a new page. So we'll go to Pages and Add New. And then we can use the URL for this page that's created in a lot of different places. So we can say VBS registration 2018. And then we have this awesome button right here. It says Add Form. So we can go ahead, we can select our form, VBS sign up, insert the form. So here you can see that there's this short code. This is how the website's going to know what the actual form is. So we can use this short code. Either we can just import it into another page, or we can just create this page. So right now what I'm going to show you is if we use this as a page and we add it to our navigation. So we can go ahead and we can click Publish. And we can add it to our navigation by going to Appearance and then Menus. And there you see right there, VBS registration 2018. So we can add it to our navigation by saying Add to Menu. And let's say we want to add it underneath our youth ministry. So we could add it right there. Save the menu. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So we can go see what our website, on our actual website. We go to Ministries, Youth Ministry, and then we got VBS registration. So this is what it's going to actually look like on your website. So we've got all those fields, that conditional logic, so we can see the rest of it. And the cool thing is it's going to set up in the way that your settings are. So if you're using the Potter's Hand, it's going to use the Potter's Hand template kind of feel with all the different text and things like that. So we can go back. So that's how we would add it to our navigation. The other option is we can go back and we could add it to an actual page. So if we go back to our dashboard, we find that page under pages and then all pages. We can search for VBS. We've got VBS registration. We just copy and paste this short code, we can insert it into another page. So I'm going to just copy that. And then if I go to the site, let's say I want to actually add it onto my youth ministry page. So we go to that page. We can enable the visual builder so that we can add this code in. And then we can add it. Let's say we want to add it right here. We can hover over, we're going to add a code module. So we're going to press the gray plus sign. We'll do code. We can just copy and paste this right there. Click the save button. Then we can see what that looks like. We exit our visual builder. And there we have the whole form is right there. So that's another option, is you can just embed it into the page. The third option is that you don't have to add a page onto your navigation. You can just have it living, but then you would need the direct URL to get to that page. So we could add this page. If we go and we remove it from our navigation. So if we go to our appearance and then menus, we remove it from our navigation, update, then we can get that direct link for the page. Click here. And then here's the permalink. So this is where where that page actually lives. It doesn't have to be in the navigation, but you can see that it's there. So we can copy and paste this direct URL, and then we can do whatever we want with it. So let's say we want to add a button to our home page. And we want to add it. We could do, we could just add it in here. So if we enable the visual builder and we do about our church, we could say we're going to add a new module. So we'll get that gray plus sign. We can do a button. And the button text is going to be sign up for VBS. And this link is going to be where we're going to drop that direct URL. So we can have it open in the same window, or we can have it open in a new tab. Let's say we want to open in a new tab. We can center this button if we go to the design and then alignment, and then we can center it. And we can go ahead and save. We can exit the visual builder and see what that will do. So we could sign up for VBS, and then it opens that new window to that direct page. So you could do a button, you could add it to an image so that when you clicked on the image, the link was there and it would bring you to the page. There's a lot of different possibilities of what you could use, but that's where you're going to create that actual URLs. You need to use the form the add form button in a page to create a page. You don't have to add it to your navigation, but you'll need to create the page in order to have it. So that's how you can actually create a form and then add it onto your website and manage where all of that information goes. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We're happy to help you guys. Thanks.